Hello everyone. In this video that you are about to watch, I will be reflecting on the year of 2024 for my YouTube channel and what's transpired with it within these 365 days. I will share with you all the goals that I had set for myself at the beginning of this year and how I've changed ever since then as a result of it. So without further ado, let's begin the recap of the year 2024. Every year that I've ever had to reflect on what I've done with my life and with YouTube, it would always stagger me how quickly the time would go by. But in this year of 2024, I've come to truly accept the normality of this mysterious sensation now that it has become the 5th time that I've done this. Rewinding the clock to the very beginning and seeing once again through the lens of self-reflection what I have done and how I've grown as a person. I ask that you all question yourselves. Who am I, and who is it that I want to be? What is the contribution of my existence within this world? Where is my place within this life? I've come to believe now that people think too lowly of themselves, where they think it's not necessary for them to relive their life through the perspective of critique and honesty, knowing what you've done in the past and the present, and how that will affect what you do in the future. Which is exactly why, every single year, on December 31st, I want to look back and see what I've truly done for myself, to understand how I've grown and changed, to become aware of my life story. And so in this year's recap, I'm going to discuss with you all the main goals that I had set for myself in 2024. And those main goals were originality and exposure. And because of those goals, I will explain how by pursuing those things, it has led to me having the greatest sense of clarity that I've ever had in my life when it comes to what I need to do on YouTube in order to truly become the TheHarpyEagle and rise to the top. It was the very moment when I had reached enlightenment. And so in order to begin, let's take the story back to January 1st, 2024. It was on New Year's Day when I had the most honest self-reflection on myself for who I am and what my identity is on YouTube. You see, I have used YouTube ever since the year 2013 and started watching gaming content in 2014. But in 2015, that was the year that I had the blessing to find one of the greatest gaming YouTubers that I had ever seen to this day, which was Dashi. And in 2019, that was another year when I had been blessed again by finding another one of the greatest gaming YouTubers that I had ever seen, Corey Kenshin. And so why is it important for me to mention these two YouTubers, specifically when it comes to the topic of originality and self-identity? Because when I started YouTube in 2020, these two YouTubers were my greatest inspirations for wanting to become a YouTuber and even influencing the style of my channel and my videos. Now I think we can all agree that inspiration is perfectly fine, as long as it is used in the right way. However, the problem that I had with myself was the feeling of living in the shadow of Corey Kenshin. And the reason why I was starting to feel like that is because over the years, I saw a very few amount of comments from people who would say that I reminded them of Corey Kenshin. Now, of course, people can always say anything, and that doesn't automatically mean that it's true. So I could have just simply taken the path of ignoring those people and continue doing what I did that reminded them of that other YouTuber in the first place. But instead, I chose to no longer lie to myself about the style of my videos or the vibe of my channel that truly did have a strong similarity to Corey Kenshin, where even if you didn't want to call it a ripoff, it definitely was at the very least too similar for me to be compared to anyone else. I could see the resemblance. And one example that I could provide is the similarities in our thumbnails. Some people could say, well, other YouTubers make these types of thumbnails too, so it's not really something that you can say you ripped off from him because it's not a Corey Kenshin only thing. But the issue here when it comes to that is that Corey Kenshin was the only YouTuber that I knew of that made thumbnails like this. So who else could I have possibly gotten the idea from to make thumbnails like this? I made those thumbnails because of Corey. And there were various other things that I was doing as well because of Corey. And so in this year, I had to make a choice. And when I was confronted by this choice, it felt as though that I had literally stumbled upon a crossroad that would change my YouTube channel forever. Either stay the same and continue being compared to Corey Kenshin and forever live in his shadow, or change and become innovative to become a YouTuber unlike ever before that no one has ever seen, And the choice that I made was to become the Harpy Eagle. And that was when I had focused on trying to make new thumbnails, have a new editing style, have a new vibe, and just completely reinvent myself. And not just so that I don't become the second Corey Kenshin or the second Dashi, but to become the first The Harpy Eagle. The situation here was bigger than just being compared to Corey Kenshin. It was just simply me being compared to another person in general. I don't want to live in anyone's shadow, and in order to make that become the case, I need to innovate and create something new. And while I have been creating something new from the beginning of this year, there's still more to come in the future when it comes to me being more original. But at the same time, when all of this was happening, while I was focusing on becoming original, I was also focusing on wanting to grow. Making it big has always been something that I had strived for since the very beginning of my YouTube journey. But this year, I truly wanted that to be the case, because I always felt as though that over the years, I had been wrong over and over again as to what I needed to do on YouTube in order to get the exposure that I needed to become a new big YouTuber. And so in this year, I thought that I would finally know what I needed to do in order to grow. And coincidentally, it was roughly at the beginning of this year that I discovered a new streamer who would become big on both YouTube and Twitch. And that streamer was Queso. After watching his content for a little bit and getting to know a little bit more about him, I came to learn about the upbringing of his success. And I found out how he became big on both YouTube and Twitch, and most specifically, how quickly he became big. I wanted to know more about how he was able to grow successfully in such a short amount of time, and that was when I had watched a podcast that he was on, where he explained his consistency of streaming every day while also uploading several clips of those streams onto TikTok. And as I learned more and more about his success and the work that he had put in, it made me learn about the power of exposure. And that was when in March of 2024, I had made my video called, "It's Time to Become Known." And so after I had learned that Queso would play these games on his streams and then upload clips of those streams onto TikTok, but do it in a way where the clip is a perfect resemblance of the type of mood and energy that's expected from the entire stream if a viewer was interested in seeing the whole thing, I was inspired to do the same thing that Queso did. And so after I had made my video, "It's Time to Become Known" on March 13th, 2024, I planned on uploading clips of games that I had played in the previous year of 2023. And so Queso said that the first night that he had uploaded clips onto TikTok, he uploaded 3 clips on that night, and the following day, the next morning, he was at 15,000 followers. And so it was going to be my first official day uploading on TikTok, and while I wasn't expecting the same thing to happen to me, I was hoping that I would at least actually get somewhere with it. Because you see, I already had a TikTok ever since 2022, but I stopped posting on there because I saw that I wasn't really getting anywhere with it, and it didn't help me with giving my channel extra exposure. But after listening to what Queso said, I decided to give it another try. And so on the first day that I was going to try to do it, I uploaded 4 TikToks that night. But it was a completely random horror game that I had played, and I tried to make the clips in a way where it would match the energy and the vibe of the original video if someone wanted to try and watch the whole thing. I uploaded it at night, just like Queso, and went straight to sleep right afterwards. And the next day, what I saw instead of 15,000 followers was one of my videos being restricted for community guideline reasons, 2 of them not even reaching 100 views, and the last one barely even getting 200 to 300 views with literally nothing being gained from it. Now, I knew that I wasn't going to have the exact same thing happen to me like it did with Queso, because if it was that easy, then everyone would have already done it by now. But I was genuinely shocked that I got absolutely nothing out of it, because I thought that I would at least get something out of it, even if it was very small. So when it came to this new TikTok strategy of mine, I was trying to consistently upload TikToks for about a month to see where it would go, constantly taking videos from 2023 and making short clips out of them in order to get more views. And after about a whole month of trying that, it was all the same, and I didn't get the same type of success that Queso did. And within that month that I've been trying to consistently upload clips on TikTok, I wasn't uploading any YouTube videos in the meantime. And so after being done with the Queso method, I just went ahead and came back to YouTube on April 21st, 2024, where I had uploaded a trailer for my channel, Behold the Harpy Eagle, which to this day is still one of the coolest videos that I've ever made on my channel. And once I made that trailer, I just went ahead and got right back to the grind of uploading gaming videos, where the first game that I had played after coming back from TikTok was the puppet combo game called The Glass Staircase. But you see, once I came back from TikTok and started uploading videos on YouTube again, I was starting to have certain moments of realization. Realization when it came to what I truly needed to do for my channel in order to grow, and how that even tied in with what I did wrong when it came to trying to grow like Queso, and that there were certain things that I didn't understand at the time, but now I do understand those things. And what exactly are those things that I'm talking about? All the different traits that a YouTuber must embody in order to excel at YouTube. Various traits that when looked at on the surface, it seems like nothing, and that it's just a person with a camera recording a video and then uploading it. Even though it seems like there's no thought put into it, these successful YouTubers have the total package. And depending on the type of YouTuber that someone wants to be, there are systematic procedures that must be executed within their mind in order to not only achieve success on YouTube, but to also maintain it. The thing about Queso is that even though I had moved on from trying to replicate his success back in March and April, throughout the entire year, he had always been in the back of my mind. Because what makes Queso stand out for me in comparison to all these other gaming YouTubers who make the specific type of gaming content that I make, is that he is a person who found success in this generation. All these other YouTubers, they found success in a different generation that came before this one. So while it may help to know what they did to become successful, it was from a completely different time. And so what worked for them during their time won't automatically work for someone during this time. And the people trying to make it big during this time are people like me and Queso. And this is what truly got to me. When I saw that Queso was playing the exact same games as all these other gaming YouTubers that have been around for a long time. And so I questioned to myself, how on earth is it that Queso knows exactly what games to play as if he's been doing this as long as all these other YouTubers? Because you see, when it came to me knowing about trending games or games that I knew were going to be trending once they released, I was only able to do that with certain games. I wasn't consistent enough when it came to my perceptiveness, my awareness of what games were going to be of high demand at the current moment. And so to see Queso, a new YouTuber and streamer, having the capability of not only seeing these trends, but staying on top of them and capitalizing on them in order to grow, motivated me to study what these YouTubers do. And I started taking a closer look at the homepage on Itch.io, but most specifically, the new and trending page on Steam. And that's when I saw that the games that they were playing were the games that were trending on Itch.io, mostly Steam. And I understood that when there were times that these YouTubers would play completely random games, it would be when there were absolutely no new games that were coming out, and everything in the indie gaming community was completely dead for that brief period of time. What I started to realize with all of this is that these YouTubers had mastered the art of studying the market economy of YouTube. The market economy of any market includes three main elements: the market, the consumer, and the producer. Now apply that example onto YouTube, specifically YouTube gaming. The market is the indie games, the consumer is the viewer, and the producer is the YouTuber. These YouTubers have been able to produce the goods that are demanded by the consumers at the highest quality possible with the most consistency. They are consistent with catching on to trends as well as studying them by seeing how trend-worthy they are, because not all games are equally as trend-worthy as one another. And on that topic, there's a term for videos that are always relevant, which applies even for gaming, and that term is evergreen content, where the game is a household name in the indie gaming community, and no matter what, it will always be popular and something that is of deep interest for people, versus games that are practically seasonal, where they're only popular for a certain week or a certain month, but it's not a household name that everyone loves and will always want to watch if they stumble upon a new YouTuber and are curious to see if they played that game. These YouTubers are consistent at uploading videos of high demand, and they're consistent with something that matters. If a gaming YouTuber uploads completely random and obscure indie games every day, like how I did in the past, they're uploading content on games that don't matter because no one even knows what the game is. It's not a classic, and so there's no familiarity to it. Therefore, they have no idea how entertaining the video is going to be because they don't even know if the game is entertaining, let alone if you're entertaining. When I started to think like this, I realized that for all this time, I was putting in the wrong work for the right thing. No matter how much you lift dumbbells, you will never be able to get a six-pack. It will only give you defined muscles for your arms, be it your biceps, triceps, forearms, etc. But if I want to get a six-pack, I need to do ab-related workouts. So if I want to grow big as a gaming channel, I need to play indie games that people love and know about. Not random games that nobody knows about, because even if those games are genuinely good, that doesn't mean the viewer will know that it's good, nor does it mean that they'll have any interest in it since they don't even know what it is. Just because you were interested in the game doesn't mean that you should start hoping that everyone else will start to be interested in the game as well. It's about placing the viewer first and giving them what they want, not just what you want and hope to make other people want as well. Because the only way that a gaming YouTuber can reach that point is when both the game and the YouTuber are a household name. When a YouTuber becomes very well known and not a complete stranger like us small YouTubers, it means that they've created a reputation. Meaning that people will already know how the YouTuber is, and if the YouTuber is truly entertaining with their personality and charisma, then people will start to watch their videos for them, and not just simply the game that they're playing. And there's so much more that I could explain about all the different types of concepts that always need to be kept in the back of people's minds when it comes to directing themselves and knowing what actions to take, because they know exactly what they'll get out of it. They understand why they're doing the things that they're doing, and so it doesn't feel completely random. They don't feel lost. And that's exactly how I was. I was starting to feel lost when it came to knowing what games I should play if I wanted to grow. But now, that's no longer the case, because now I've become enlightened, and I will use this newfound knowledge that I have learned within this year to make the best videos possible in 2025 and so on. I will now be putting in the right work for the right thing. As each year would pass, I would look back at the previous year and say to myself, I can't believe that I thought I would grow with this type of content. In 2021, I looked back in 2020 and said that to myself. In 2022, I looked back in 2021 and said that to myself once more. In 2023, I looked back in 2022 and said that to myself once again. And now in 2024, I am looking back in 2023 and saying to myself, I can't believe that I thought I would grow with this type of content. Because now, with nearly 5 years of experience, I have learned so much when it comes to what to do and what not to do in order to grow on YouTube. So now that I have become enlightened with what I need to do to make it big on YouTube, it is only a matter of time before I get my breakthrough. Because now, my eyes are open, and the Harpy Eagle has awakened.